What is good, scrappers? CCscraps here. Welcome to episode 9 of Breaking It Down with CCscraps. We've got ourselves a household dehumidifier. I found this on just one random day on a trash pickup. The back was broken out. Looked like someone tried to cut it out or try to cut something out of here. So maybe they're trying to get at the compressor motor or whatever. Looks like they worked it a little bit with there's some screws. It's missing a few screws here and here. And yeah, just there and there. Cord's been cut. Looks like it was dropped or something. Maybe that's why it's broken. But anyway, we're going to get into it. It's basically got to take these back screws off. Oops. Bang. And there's here. Then, okay, that pops off. Set that aside. Now we got ourselves, going to take out the compressor. Looks like we got the fan. Probably a circuit, to hold the circuit board, stuff like that. We're going to get into that in a second. Looks like we got some number 3 wires. Some copper we're going to cut out. Sit tight, and I'm going to start cutting out some of this stuff. Alright, so I got some of this circuit board stuff off. Excuse me. It's freezing in upstate New York. See my breath? So I got these screws down here. It's just the same screws from before. And my heater, I got a can of, I got one of those canisters for the propane, for my propane heater. Oh, great. That thing's going to be a pain. That looks stripped out. Yeah. Someone definitely tried to do some work on this thing. So that's why I'm figuring it was just like a project. Unless those are safe. Ooh, dang, I hit my head on the camera. We in focus? Those are Phillips heads. So that's going to make it a pain, because I'm going to have to probably get out the old angle grinder and zip them off of there. My gloves on won't stop the camera. Alright, so basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to buzz this side, this screw off, and then I'm going to buzz the other screw off. Safety first. Oh, and speaking of safety, you guys see my lip? Right there? Yeah, I was cutting up copper with one of this thing here. This dude, cable cutter. I got at the swap meet, flea market, whatever y'all want to call it. $5. I held it up like freaking He-Man, like by the power of Grayskull, and then freaking he's $5. And I was like, okay. And then I bought a snowman for my wife too, from that guy, like a porcelain snowman thingy. It was kind of cool. Anyway, back to the basics. What we were doing. Safety first. All right. Ooh. Yeah, buddy. But yeah, so, and I was cutting copper, and one of the pieces came up, and I saw it coming. I moved my head back, and it just caught the side of my lip, and it hurts. Feels like I got punched. Anyway, here we go. And we're just going to kind of pop that off. If we can. Just like that. Other side. That's kind of cool, wasn't it? I'll check it out. So I got the back of this off and the front off. Now we got us a nice ACR air conditioner radiator. This is all copper. You can cut these off here. What I like to do is I bend these out. I'll cut these little noodles off. We'll do a whole another video on how to make ACR cakes now. But we're going to get this off. Whoa. Right here. And then right here. Okay. Alright. So this shell should just come off. You got a little, it's just for like the wiring inside the circuitry for the switches. I'm gonna just go ahead and take the cutters. Can y'all see that? Lighting in here. I got my door shut and I can't get my propane heater, like I said, because I let it get cold, and propane doesn't do good in the cold. So I'm going to bring the canister back upstairs, let it warm up, and we should be good to go. I'm not going to go that route. So I'm going to clip that right there, boom. Then you got this little spot here. Some screws. That's going to expose the little circuit board in there. Take that off. That's just Phillips screws, usually holding it on, and it's a little clip. Just 3 on this one, depending upon, the size, there's more. And they're in hidden spots, so when you go to scrap these out, keep that in mind. Ooh, one more. 4, I guess. Okay. Okay. Come on. Alright. It's a little crappy little circuit board. And then at the end we'll show what we get. So this is going to come off. This is just the shell. Alright, so now there's usually some screws. There's usually some screws right here. Is that bench shaking a little? If it is, I'm sorry guys, I didn't realize that. Well, at least I'm getting the I get to at least get a better hold on the camera now because of this thing my wife bought me. That's why you're seeing all this bright light and stuff. That comes out. There's some screws in here. Basically, every time you see a screw, just take it out. Whoops. Okay, you don't want to come out. Outstanding. What a pain in the ass that is. That's okay. There's always one or two that just doesn't want to come out. Alright, sit tight, y'all. I'm going to get this piece broke off. And there's screws down low. And there it is. Sit tight. Okay, so we got that other part off. I've got this part ready to come off, but it's connected to all this copper tubing. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to get my Sawzall in here and just zip it off real quick. I shouldn't say saws off, reciprocating saw. You don't want to trouble. See, sometimes that oil leaks, so you got to be careful too with that. That mineral oil. I got a bin I put it in. I got a little jar and can, and then I use it to oil my tools up and stuff. So I got that bent off. It's dripping here too. It's a pain in the neck. You just got to be careful. If it doesn't get on the ground, I guess it's going to be okay. Oh, and another thing too. Before I should have said this earlier in the beginning of the video. These, you can't just chop these open and let the Freon everywhere. Okay. The only reason why I picked this up is because it was already busted out. And every time you see a video of me breaking down anything that has to do with air conditioning and all that kind of stuff, I never let the Freon out. You should never let the Freon out. It's not good for the environment. Freon gas is, I guess, what they explained to me is it's lighter than air. or what is it? I'm trying to get, not lighter than air, but heavy. I don't know. But anyway, it settles in the heavier than air, I should say, not lighter than air. Then it would float. Never mind. No, I wasn't a science major. Anyway, it might not be where you are, but it'll find the lowest spot and just sit there for, decades or whatever. So anyway, we're going to take this top piece off. Boom, it falls. Timber, right? All right, sit tight. I am going to show you how to get this thing off. All right, so check it out. All it is really just some nuts and bolts. I just get a big crescent wrench or box wrench, whatever I grab that's going to fit. I believe these are, don't know what size these are. These might be 1/2 inch maybe? 1/2 inch maybe? Could be wrong. I'm not good at judging my nuts. Well, anyways, basically that's going to come off. Piece of copper here, you can chop that off. Some of these you can open right up and there's copper in there. These cylindrical ones are kind of hard. The oval ones are kind of easier to open up. These will give you a compressor motor price for. And then not everybody does it, but there's this little top piece right here. And I like to just take that and give it a turn. And usually it comes right loose. Oh, I was using, instead of my cutters, okay, or not. Oh, wow, this is literally, you guys, this is the hardest one of these things I've ever tried to take off of here. That's really weird. Alright, maybe I won't take it off of there then. Anyway, alright, yeah, we won't take it off of there. I am going to chop this piece of copper. These things are cool too because it's got wheels on it. And what I'll do is I'll take one of my totes. If it gets heavy, like this one here I got. Y'all can't see that, but I'll take my tote and put it on, like this one here's got one of these on it, a little trolley. So those are nice to have, and you save that. All right, we're going to get into this piece here in a second. All right, so now I'm going to just start cutting this wire out. Got to be careful of the capacitor. Sometimes it'll shock you. It won't, because it would have right when I cut that. I'm just going to get these out. I try to take my wires out as neatly as possible. I just do it that way because there's no real way. And then you're going to come across some random, Phillips heads usually. Whoops. I'm working with a smaller Phillips bit because I broke off my other one. Anyway, you're just going to have to wrestle with some of these wires. Right there. I see a circuit board in there, a little bit of copper, which is kind of good. And there's plugs, you can pull them off, but it's just so much easier just to clip them right at the edge of it, the best you can. Because you want to make money, but you want to, you don't want to put the time in, but you don't. You want to do what you can and budget your time the best. And this little box came right off, which is kind of cool. So I'm going to just get in here and unscrew this stuff. A lot of screws in this little box. And there. All these tiny little Phillips head screws all over the place. There's probably another one holding that board in somewhere and I can't see it. That screw is going to be a pain. So, I think I'm just going to hammer it out. hammered it out. What the hell is holding it? I don't see any other screws holding this thing down. Oh, so a clip. Durr. Come on, CCscraps. Alright, and a little bit of copper on here you can harvest later. You know, these little pieces here too. You know, you really want to get into it. There's copper here, little transformers, circuit board. So, some scrapyards, the capacitor, they won't take it with the capacitor, but my yard doesn't really care. I just throw it in with my shred. So I'm going to clip that out. And then that goes in the tin. Alright, scrappers, my lip's on fire and it hurts. So, on that note, so what I normally do with this stuff, like I said, I'm going to buzz off all this. You know, maybe we ought to just do one. What the hell? Why not, right? Yeah, we're going to do an ACR cake. I'll show you how to do it. Alright, so check it out. We're going to make us an ACR cake. I'm going to just show you fast. Sometimes these pieces here you're going to have to bend out with a wrench or a plier. But I just like to go, make sure this is tight. I just like to go with the Sawzall. Vice came loose. Let's try that. All right. Then obviously you pick up your noodles, which sometimes they get stuck on here, which is fine too. You just pry them off with a plier or whatever. This here will go in your tin. This will go in your number 2 copper. That's what's up. And then you do the same thing to the other side. Let go. You know, you do the same thing to the other side, and then you bring these into the scrapyard, and you get clean ACRs for them. You know, you get a few of them. Like I've got. Let's see. I mean, I've got that one we just worked on, that whole stack of those, and then that one there. Alright, so moved over to the other workbench. The next really big thing to do on this breaking it down is to take this fan out. And I already loosened the nut. You're going to have to hold the motor, and then I do believe the shroud should pop right off. Oh, there's some little bits of screws here to take out as well. Here and here. Alright, so scrappers, that is it. I tore out basically the fan motor was a little bit of a shroud, and that came right apart with that nut. I pounded it apart. This is what the rotors look like. So this is what we got. We got this electric motor, some tin, bunch of number 3 wire, circuit board with little fixings of copper and such, a compressor motor, and an ACR with all the copper on it. That is a home dehumidifier. I showed you how to do the ACR cake. That was it. That's episode 9 of Breaking It Down with CCscraps, y'all. I hope it was a little educational. I hope it helped out. I do have a storage issue with my phone, so I try to make it as quick and as simple as possible. If you do have any questions, leave it in the comments below. All right, y'all. Stay safe, wear your mask, wash your hands. CCscraps, y'all. We'll see you on the next one. Peace now. Peace now. I can't get my phone to stop recording.